Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks since I posted a video, but I thought now would be a perfect time since I am ready to discuss my whole entire situation and everything that went through my cancer and my diagnosis and everything that has brought me to here where I am at now. So I thought it would just be fun, well, not fun, it could be fun for some people, to just talk about it and dive into it because I never really explained it. I addressed it in an earlier video, in a get to know me video, but I never really dived deep into it to talk about it. So I thought we would just get to know each other even more and just come along with me on the journey that was my life for months and months. So yeah, let's go. So starting off, so let me just take you guys on a journey. Just like close your eyes, just like picture yourself in the moment and you're just like home and you're just there. Okay, are we there now? So you're picturing, so imagine you're at cheer camp, you know, and it's your senior year and you're just like enjoying everything. You're like, yes, it's my senior year, I'm gonna go to state finals. And you know, it's just gonna be a great season. I'm ready to be cheer captain, roll this team, this is my team. Okay, imagine that, and then imagine like you get like this lump right here on your neck, and it's like huge. It's pretty big. I didn't even notice it like at all. One of my best friends noticed it, and she was like, "You have a lump on your neck." And I was like, what? I literally ran to the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, she's right, I do have a lump on my neck. But it was weird, it was crazy to me because I never noticed it before. I never thought that anything was there or anything was wrong. I mean, I knew that like I wasn't feeling the best, but I didn't think it was because I had a lump on my neck. I didn't even notice it. But when she told me, I thought that like I just got kicked or like elbowed in the neck at cheer camp doing crazy stunts and stuff. And I just thought that my neck was like, I don't know, like swollen or like bruised or something. So I didn't really think much of it until I was just like this just doesn't happen on your neck when you get elbowed in the neck. So that was the last day of cheer camp, I believe, and it was, you know, pretty rough. My parents, it was like a showcase situation. So at the end of the showcase, I was like, Mom, I have a lump on my neck and I don't know what it's doing there and I'm kind of freaking out. So she was like, all right, bet. We need to get to urgent care. No, not urgent care. We need to go to the hospital right now because I don't know what that lump is on your neck and I'm not messing around with anything on your neck, on your chest, anything. So I wasn't really thinking much of it. I was like hungry. I was like, Dad, like, what's for dinner? Like, you're gonna fry some chicken. Like, I literally said this. I said, I want fried chicken and like baked potatoes and like broccoli or something. And I was like, that's what I want because this cheer camp food sucks and this is all I want right now is fried chicken and baked potatoes. So I was like, you need to go home. Like, me and Mom are just gonna go to the hospital and you just go home and cook because when I get out of the hospital, they're just gonna send me home with a prescription medication and be like, you're fine. Little did I know, that was obviously not the case. So I got to the hospital and they put an IV in my arm, my first IV. I was like kind of freaking out. And I was just sitting there, I was relaxing, chillaxing. This nurse was so nice to me. She was like, how old are you? Like, you know, where do you go to school? Like all this stuff, like just talking to me. And I was like, you know, I was like chilling. I was like talking to her. I thought this was cool. I was like, okay, they're just gonna give me a prescription. I'm gonna go home. Then they were like, okay, we're gonna get a chest x-ray. So I was like, okay. So I got a chest x-ray. I wasn't really thinking, like, at this point, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was just like, they're just trying to like make sure it's like nothing serious. Probably just like, I don't know what I thought it was. So then that happened and I got out of my chest x-ray and I was sitting down and like the doctor comes in and he's like, you have a He was like, you have a 13 centimeter mass in your mediastinum. And I was like, what? I like froze in the moment. I was like stuck and I didn't know what to do. And I was just like scared. My mom was flipping. Like I was more calm than my mom was. Like, no joke. And that was crazy to me. I was just like, okay. I was just like, okay, it's just like a tumor and they're just gonna take it out and it's gonna be fine. So at this point I was like, it's gonna be fine. Like, I have a tumor and it's just gonna get taken out of my chest and I'll be okay. And I'll go home and everything will be fine. And he was like, I don't know what it is. We can't test it here. We don't have the right stuff to test it here. And I was just like, cool. Awesome, great. So like, we're gonna have to ship you on off to a different hospital, a larger hospital. So then I had to get in an ambulance and they took me to another hospital and then they did tests. It was like, if you watch Grey's Anatomy, and you see like the residents and all the like interns, first year residents, and they like swarm in when there's a new case and they have their clipboards and like asking a bunch of questions. They're like, what do you smell like? Like, what color is your hair? How many hours have you been sleeping a day? Blah, blah. I'm just like, what? Like, what does this have to do with anything? Because they were like 22-year-olds asking me all these dumb questions I did not care about at all. And I was so annoyed and so angry at this point that I just didn't want to talk to anyone. I was like, unless you're like an actual legitimate doctor, again, just leave me alone. Then my sister came at this point and I was just relaxing, chillaxing. I was apple juice, crackers. I was just sitting there. I was like, cool. They were putting all these cords and stuff on my body. I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but we're here. So I'm like, yeah, so you're gonna have to stay the night. And I was like, ugh. Here we go. So then they put me in a room in the pediatric section. Because at this point, I was 17, so I was 16, and I was at the pediatric section with all the babies, all the infants, and I could not sleep that night, like, at all. I was, like, crying, and all night, my mom stayed with me, but my dad and my sister, they went home, but, yeah, it was awful, like, completely awful. So, fast forwarding, like, a couple of days, I had to get a biopsy to see what it was in my chest, and I had to get a bone marrow biopsy to make sure that it wasn't spreading in my bone marrow, because that would have been a whole different situation, or whatever was spreading or whatever was in me, because at this point I didn't know what it was. They just told me I had a mass in my chest and that was all I knew. So a couple of days go by. I was in the hospital for probably like 5 nights. Whatever it was a long time, and I just really wanted to go home, but I knew that it was bad when they just weren't like sending me home, and it was just like I was in there for a really long time. So the next day, probably like 3 days later, they moved me into like the teenager section of the pediatrics. So I wasn't with like the babies, because I keep that on lock. Like, you cannot get in and out easily. So they put me with like all the teenagers, and the cancer doctor, there's probably a smart long word for it, but I'm just gonna say my cancer doctor because it's just easier that way, came in, and she told my parents, she's like, you guys like might want to sit down. And I was just like in my head I was just like, whoa, this is terrible. Like, and then she was talking to me. She was like, oh, like, what sports do you play? What's your favorite color? What school do you go to? What do you like to do in your free time? Like, random questions that I was just like, come on. Like, I know you know what's wrong with me and you're not telling me. I don't want to talk to you about what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I just want to know what is going on. And she was like, well, we did the biopsy and you have lymphoma. And I don't even remember what I did, but I definitely didn't like scream and shout and like, ah, like it wasn't like that, but I just remember like looking down and I was like shaking, and my parents were freaking out, obviously. And I was like, the first thing I said was, that's cancer, right? And she said, yes, lymphoma is a type of cancer. There's multiple types of lymphoma. I think she said lymphoma A or B. I could be wrong about that. But like there's 2 types of lymphoma. There's Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's. Hodgkin's is like one type and they know how to treat it. And if it's non-Hodgkin's, there could be many types of Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's that it could be. So I was not fortunate. Mine was Hodgkin's, so they knew how to treat it. It was stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, you know, I was like devastated at this point, because like going into your senior year, you never think that like something like this is gonna happen to you. And it happened to me, you know. And I need a beauty blender, bitch. Like, what is going on? And I just had to roll with it. At that point, I really thought my life was like over. I thought I was dying. I thought cheer is over, school's over, college, I'm not gonna be able to go. I thought social life over, everything was like, I can't do it. I can't do any of it. How would I do any of it? And my doctor said, one of my doctors said something really inspirational and motivating to me. She was like, it doesn't define who you are. When you introduce yourself, it's not, hi, I'm Makayla and I have cancer. Hello, like, how are you? It's, hi, I'm Makayla. I like cheer, soccer, makeup, YouTube. How are you? You know, it is what you make of it. And another one doctor of mine said that it's like a road bump in your life and you're gonna get over it, and it's gonna be at the end of the road, like you're gonna be fine and you're gonna be okay. So I just looked at it as that like point of view, and that helped a lot. What also helped a lot was writing. That also helped a lot with it, but also like my friends too, because this is terrible. Why am I crying? Oh my god, stop. One thing that really helped me was my friends. Whenever I was with them, I never felt like my world was crashing down around me, literally, and I felt normal, and I wasn't thinking about it. Same with my family. I barely thought about my diagnosis and having cancer when I was with my friends and family. It really only was tough when I was like alone at night, like just trying to sleep. I also had to learn to stay off of the internet because Google can scare you. I made this mistake when I was in the hospital. I like Googled everything that could be wrong with my neck, and I got some crazy stuff, like, and you know, I would say that definitely made it worse, me Googling stuff. I still Google stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I have like a spot on my hand, like it's probably cancer coming back, or oh, I have a cough, it's probably this coming back, you know, all this stuff. But I was paranoid about my health before I was ever diagnosed with anything, so I doubt it's gonna get worse, me being paranoid about my health now that I was diagnosed with cancer. But I was diagnosed back in July, the end of July. It is now May. I finished my chemotherapy in January. One of those months, I can't remember. And then after that I had to do radiation. And that was also interesting. You can't really see it, but I got it on my neck, under my armpits, a little bit in my middle of my chest. I got it there. There's some serious burns, like no joke, hurt burns. Yeah, radiation was rough, but it wasn't as bad as chemotherapy. Like, if people were like, would you rather do radiation or chemotherapy? If I had to choose, it would definitely be radiation, just because you just lay there. There's no needles in you, and you don't feel it when you're getting it. And they just go home and you go to sleep. If anything, you're a little bit tired, but I didn't feel that tired after radiation, so it wasn't hard or difficult. The only difficult part was chemo. That was rough. The first thing I asked her is like, am I gonna lose my hair? Because that, ooh. I was like, am I gonna lose my hair? And she's like, well, I feel like she tried to sugarcoat it just a little bit, just because she knew that I loved my hair. And she's like, well, there's a small chance, that you could go through this whole thing and, keep some of your hair. She's like, but mostly, like, yeah, you might lose it all. I was just like, okay, like, there's a chance, like, I might be able to keep all my hair. No. It all fell out. All of it. Not all of it, actually. Just, like, that much was left. Like a buzz. Like, I could have just shaved it all off, but I didn't want to. I just left it. I just, like, would comb it, and it would just, like, fall out. Like, I would comb it, and there'd be, like, a clump of hair in the sink. And yeah, I think I've done a pretty good job disguising it. I mean, some days I have bad wig days, so it's like I can't have a good wig day every single day. Like, wigs are just well, my wig, there's two types of wig. There's like a regular wig, there's a closure wig, there's like a lace frontal wig. I have both, but I like my lace frontal wig better just because it looks more natural if you do it right, and if it's not old and like crusty looking, which is sometimes I have a bad habit of putting on an old crusty one and then going to school, but what are you gonna do? It's a lot of work. But yeah, I wear wigs, and I feel like some people honestly don't know unless they watch this video. Some people don't know what I look like without a wig. I would say out of all my friends, only like 6 or 5 of them know what I look like without a wig on. But I think that I just don't show my hair just because I'm like kind of self-conscious about it, honestly. I don't know why. It's stupid that I am. It's like everyone knows when you have chemo, like all your hair falls out. So I don't really know why I'm self-conscious about it, but yeah, chemo was terrible. It was awful. Actually, I had 6 rounds of chemo, but each round had 2 in like infusions. So it wasn't until my 5th or 4th round of chemo when things started to just really mess with my body. Yeah, my jaws would just ache to the point where I couldn't eat because it hurt so bad. Was a side effect. Another side effect was I wasn't able to eat anything for like 2 days, or I would just throw it all up. or I would get really bad shakes, and I would start just like, I would be drenched in sweat. I would get really bad shakes. My stomach would just cramp, and I wasn't able to eat anything. The only thing I could eat, I couldn't eat crackers. I had to like drink like chicken broth and that was all I could do for like 3 days after getting a certain type of chemo. But that was really the worst of it, was the last 2 rounds. The first 3 weren't bad. I remember my first round of chemo was like the day before my birthday, and I got that chemo the next day, woke up, put on a full face, went to brunch with my friends, feeling completely fine, got home, redid my makeup, went to my birthday party at my friend's house, and I was completely fine, spent the night at her house, was a-okay, and then I woke up the next day and I was fine. Like, I sailed through my first 3 rounds, and then the last 2 just like hit me like a truck, and I realized that I couldn't keep doing what I was doing, but I did. All through chemo I was doing, in radiation I was still cheering, and honestly I think it just made the whole process better. Just getting out of the house and sitting in my house and just like being sorry for myself, that helped a lot, like a lot. And now I'm currently off of everything. I'm off of all my medication except for one, and I am currently, but yeah, so switching to a different note, now I'm currently off of everything. No chemo, no radiation, no medicine. I only have one medicine that I have to take, but it's just so I don't get sick. But yeah, I'm currently off of everything, and I just have to do like scans and blood work for a couple months, years actually. One more thing, not a lot of people know what I look like without my wig on, and I'm just like ready to just show it all to the world. The only people that really know what I look like I said before, are a couple of my close friends and my family, and I'm just ready to just be free. So without further ado, here goes nothing. Ow. Oh. So yeah, this is me with my hair, just me, myself, and my hair. And this is what I look like. Let me know what you guys think about my new look. You know, I don't know, I kind of feeling it. My sister was like, can you do like finger waves? I don't really know like how to style it, really. It's like, you can't really style it. So, I don't know, I kind of like it. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. We'll probably still continue with the wigs, but we shall see what happens. But anyways, you guys, I hope you really enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys have any questions, if you want me to talk about anything or go more in depth with something. Make sure you guys tell me what you think about the new, well, not new, but about my hair. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all very soon. Are we done? Can I take these earrings off because they hurt?